Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. We're on episode 3, The Runaway Room.
Glancing over my records of the late last century, I am faced by the events of a certain bitter winter. A murder in a carriage as it sped through dense London fog in the dead of night. Though the victim and the perpetrator were the only ones inside, there were multiple witnesses to the crime itself. However, none could have imagined at the time that such a seemingly obvious case as this would end in such a horrendous manner. My friend, Mr. Herlock Sholmes, once said of the incident, "I believe that perhaps that case was indeed the prelude. The beginning of a long concerto that impressive Japanese student and I were to play together."
Okay, I thought these were written in the past. Huh, interesting. Yo, the drip!
Amazing. Is this really just a railway station?
Oh, he does have an accent.
Railway station or not, I've never seen such an enormous building before.
So does she, wow.
And look at all the steam locomotives. This country is incredible.
I feel like I'm dreaming.
So this is the capital of Great Britain.
So, where to?
Oh, hello.
Climb aboard. I'll take you wherever you want to go.
In that case, the Supreme Court in Whitehall, if you wouldn't mind.
My pleasure. I suppose you're visiting students from abroad, eh?
Yes.
Thought so. Well then, I hope you enjoy your stay.
I thought the kid was gonna jack the
center of the world.
the stuff there.
Mighty capital, London.
He looked shady. He didn't look like a good British child. Yo, okay, Castlevania time. Dang, that is shut up, this is so cool looking. 18th of February, 9:21 a.m., the British Supreme Court, Lord Chief Justice's office. The sound of the gears must be very annoying. Also, I did make a promise to a friend that I would limit the British accents to only those most deserving. I will try my best. What an incredible place. It's so imposing. It's almost suffocating. This place is breathtaking. Looks like a fortress. There are some stone buildings like this in Japan now, of course, but they've only been built in the few short decades since we opened our borders to the outside world. An authentic example like this has quite a different impact, wouldn't you agree? A far cry from the wood and paper most of our buildings are constructed from. It's certainly, well, unfamiliar. But I think there's more to the differences than just construction materials. What is this place again? This is the Lord Chief Justice's office, Naruhodo-san, in the Supreme Court of Great Britain. The Lord Chief Justice. We had instructions to report here at this time. If circumstances were different, we were supposed to let the Lord Chief Justice know that we had arrived from Japan. But Kazuma can't. No. So instead we are here in a different capacity, as envoys to report the news of Kazuma-sama's death. Yes. And having delivered his or her message, an envoy's duty is done. So we'd have to return to Japan. If we want to remain here in Great Britain, I have to take Kazuma's place as the law student selected for the study tour. Yes, which means you need the requisite qualifications as a lawyer, which is what I've been studying for. Here in Great Britain, it is the Lord Chief Justice who appoints lawyers. So that's the second reason why we're here, to have you officially recognized as a lawyer. It's the only way that we'll be able to remain here in London. I hope I'm up to scratch. Good morning. Sorry for keeping you. I don't know. Oh. Same. You kind of look evil, buddy. Just ever so slightly. I trust you aren't too exhausted after your long voyage from Japan. It seems I'm 1 hour, 12 minutes, and 47 seconds late. My apologies. Oh, no, don't mention it. We're never happier than when we're standing around with nothing much to do. How fortunate. Strong... Male Strongheart. Or Mael. Like so it's a combination of like Maelstrom and Strongheart. That's pretty strong. Introductions. I am Mael Strongheart, Lord Chief Justice of the British Empire. And I feel like a little mouse under an elephant's foot. Come on, Mr. Naruhodo, don't be a mouse. Oh, It's an honor to meet you, Lord Chief Justice Strongheart. I'm Ryunosuke Naruhodo from the Empire of Japan. I am currently cosplaying as the guy from Raido Kuzunoha, who's probably named Raido Kuzunoha. Well, Mr. Naruhodo, welcome to London, the capital of our glorious British Empire. Yes, thank you. I've been standing here for an hour. Yo, what's up with these knights, though? Look at these menacing metal giants facing each other across the room. I believe they're suits of armor. Oh, right. I thought maybe they were like the lion dogs we have in Japan guarding shrine gates. You're not 100% wrong. No, not at all. In fact, in Europe, suits of armor like these are always possessed by evil spirits, you know. Oh! And they roam around in the middle of the night. Oh! Hi, what book are you reading? Really? Is there nothing you don't know, Mr. Sato? This book tells me everything I need to know about everything. If you're ever unsure, just ask. Where did she get that incredible tome? Oh no. Oh no, she's got the Chuny book. Just look at all these naughty books. some naughty books. No, naughty, kanaughty. Some kanaughty books packed together on these shelves. They go from floor to ceiling. And they're all books you couldn't hope to come by in Japan. It's like a dream. Yes, a very bad dream. They're not all about British law either. They're books about the judicial systems of other Western nations. France, Germany, Spain, Holland. Not Canada. It didn't exist at this time, I don't think. What about Russia? Why do you ask? I was wondering about asking the Lord Chief Justice how you say wardrobe in Russian. What do you think? I think perhaps it's a thought best abandoned. Yo, this desk, though. This must be the Lord Chief Justice's desk. I believe it's made of marble. It looks more like an over-the-top tombstone that's toppled over to me. I think that's your fanciful imagination at work again, Mr. Naruhodo. It feels like everything that's normally made of wood and paper at home is made of bricks and stone here. I know. That's why this place feels so overbearing, I'm sure. What else we got? We got the columns. No, the gears. Are we looking at the gears? Is this some kind of clock? Actually, I think we might be inside some sort of giant clock. But those gears are larger than anything you'd find on a steam locomotive even. It's eerie. You think clocks are some sort of hobby of his? The Lord Chief Justice, I mean. Well, boys do enjoy fiddling around with machines, don't they? I'm not sure you could fiddle with cogs that size, so I'm certain you couldn't call him a boy. Still, it's amazing how little noise the cogs make, considering how... Oh, well, that's good. If there was like the tick, 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 I would go crazy. There's actually something quite soothing about their precise rhythm. Nope, not for me. If I was stuck in a room and there was I'd kill myself. I can't do that. I know people that are like, oh, isn't it nice, you know, the sound of the clock and the sound of the... No. You know, I think that's about it then. Hey. Check. Whoa! Oh, wow! We inherited his armband. We don't have a badge anymore. The lawyer's name is embroidered on the inside here. Look. Kazuma Asogi. This was his band, of course. He had his heart set on the study tour in Great Britain. I'm sure he would have found the truth he longed for here. But he lost his life before he even had the chance to see the place. I have such a strong sense of his hopes and dreams when I look at this armband, though. Oh, I was going to show him my badge, but... I mean, I guess I am. I guess I do have a badge. These are the... Whoa. You ever just have a drink and then your drink comes back later as like a coat of like phlegm that just destroys your throat and then you can't speak? Anyways, I'm going to take another sip then. These are the scales of justice. They're the symbol of the defense, aren't they? Yes, that's right. The scales are a symbol of fairness, to show that all are treated equally in the eyes of the law. And they're a warning to those who enter the courtroom without an impartial mind. But if they're the mark of the defense, it'd be more auspicious if they were weighing more heavily on the not guilty side, I think. Very impartial, I'm sure. Oh. Can I show this? Lord Strongheart, may I show you this? To accept this item, issue a receipt, examine it thoroughly, and make a formal statement of my findings would require something in the region of 24 seconds of my time. Sorry? Does the item warrant 24 seconds of my time, Mr. Naruhodo? Let's leave it for now. You're Clockman. That's your gimmick. Okay. You're all about the time. London? So, what are your impressions of our capital so far? How do you like London? Oh, help! I've been so nervous ever since I got here that I can't remember a single thing about the city. It's simply splendid, isn't it, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh? We had a wonderful view of some of London's streets from the carriage on the way here from the station. Everything is so impressive and grand. I must say I'm almost lost for words. I'm glad to hear you like it. The city boasts tramways, piped water and gas, even cables supplying electricity. We spearhead every revolutionary new technology in the world. Every visitor to London is astounded. Oh yes, astounded is the word. Thanks for saving me there, Susato-san. And everyone seems so jolly and full of vigor. Yes. There's much excitement about the upcoming Great Exhibition we will be hosting here in London. Great Exhibition? Cultural and technological achievements from around the globe are to be exhibited here in our great city. It'll be the greatest spectacle of its kind in history, and will make Paris's World Fair look like a toy shop. Gosh, I can hardly imagine how magnificent it's going to be. Great Britain's capital city is nothing but magnificent. London is the center of the modern world. Even if you do say so yourself. Why has this man got a Leo Whitefang projectile right on his cravat there? You see that? Yeah. The sun will never set on our great empire. Do we let him know about Brexit? That's my go-to joke. I'm sorry. I don't got much else. Do I tell him about, I don't know, Mr. Blobby? I don't know. Perhaps it is fate. Stop. Perhaps it is fate that in these progressive times we welcome visitors from the land of the rising sun. Law student. Lord Chief Justice? I think you were expecting a student of law for this study tour, weren't you? Absolutely. Mr. Kazuma Asogi, if my memory serves. That's right. The British government has already been telegraphed a full report on the situation. I understand the young man lost his life aboard the steamship bound for our shores. That's amazing. The news reached him before we even arrived. My country naturally extends its deepest condolences to yours. Oh, thank you. And you honored this appointment specifically to inform me of the news. Yes. We are here in the capacity of envoys from Japan to report the sad news in person. They tell me you Japanese are a people of protocol and courtesy, and I see that it's true. And it is with some regret that I must inform you that the death of the young lawyer means this study tour arrangement can no longer proceed. If you would just hear us out, Lord Strongheart. What do you have to say, madam? It's about the study tour. Mr. Naruhodo here would like to make a proposal. Would he now? Well, Mr. Naruhodo, this is it then. A moment of truth. Let's go. The thing is, Lord Justice, Sir, Lord Strongheart, I was wondering if perhaps you would consider allowing the study tour to go ahead. Don't misunderstand me. Britain would ideally like to see the tour go ahead, but without a lawyer from your country, there's nothing to be done. Well, in that case, what if there was someone else? Another lawyer from Japan, I mean. Is there something I don't know? Only a single lawyer was invited to Great Britain from your country, and that was Mr. Asogi. At least, that is what I've been led to understand. Well, the thing is, this really isn't going well at all. I just can't seem to find the right words to say to this man. Mr. Naruhodo, I could ruin things here if I'm not careful. What am I going to say? If there is something else, someone else here from Japan who could be described as a lawyer, it's... I kind of just want to pick the other options and see what happens. I want to say it's Sasato. It's Sussy-chan. It's Miss Sasato. It can probably only be, yes, Miss Sasato. An unusual introduction, but I presume you mean this charming lady beside you. You're a lawyer, are you? That look she's giving me, after all the days of hard work she put in to help me study, I can't let her down now. I think that's quite enough joking. Don't you, Lord Strongheart? My real answer is, it's me. Oh, good, it just goes to it. I can do it. Is that so? I mean, I don't actually have any qualifications as such, but... No qualifications, you say, and yet you still claim to be a lawyer. I've acted as a lawyer in court before. Only once, as it happens. And I had Kazuma to help me. And I was the accused, but glossing over the details. I've been spending every spare moment on the journey here to Great Britain studying. I've learned all about British law and court proceedings while I was on board the SS Burya. The voyage from Japan is some 50 days, I believe. Not what you might call a full education. To become a qualified lawyer here in Britain, not only do you need a university degree in law, you must also complete several years' worth of training. I realize it's far too short a period of time, but I can't just go back to Japan. Kazuma, Mr. Asogi's journey had only just begun. Coming here on this study tour was all he thought about. I had to carry on and do everything he planned to do. I know it must sound like I have an overly inflated opinion of myself, but I would do anything to prove that I have what it takes. Any test you care to set me. Just one chance. That's all I'm asking for. Please. 31 seconds. Sorry? Your opening statement there, Mr. Naruhodo. It was 31 seconds long. Not too brief, not too protracted. A perfectly judged appeal, I would say. Which is a skill that would stand you in good stead as a lawyer. Oh. Thanks. So, you're willing to put those words to trial, are you? Well, I'm all for entertainment. Huh? But let me ask you one thing first, sir. Yes? You say you intend to do everything Mr. Asogi planned to do. Are you firmly set on that path? Well, yes. That's my intention. I see. Am I imagining things, or did his expression just alter a fraction there all of a sudden? Very well. You have your wish. I'll give you a chance. A test to become a specially certified lawyer. Whether you pass or fail is entirely down to you. Really? Okay, what's the test, buddy? So, what form will the test take exactly? Tell me, Mr. Naruhodo, what do you consider the role of a lawyer to be? Someone who slams the hand and yells the objection while pointing. Well, defending people, of course. Well said. So, let's have you defend someone. Huh? Your timing is perfect, in fact. There's an apt trial about to begin later today. No advocate had been appointed for the defense as of yet, so this will be welcome news. Today? Straight away? If you manage to secure a verdict of not guilty, you'll have passed my test. What could be simpler? How do I get myself into these situations? Well, could I ask what sort of trial it is, Lord Strongheart? Yes, good question. I remember. Murder, wasn't it? It's always murder. It's always murder. Yep, it's always murder. There's never anything else in the Ace Attorney world. It's a murder trial. A murder? An extremely simple case, I understand. You really can't lose. That's easy to say, but I should mention, just in case, if the defendant is found guilty, he will of course be sentenced to capital punishment. Oh! I didn't consider that that'd be a thing here. Capital punishment? He'll be put to the death? Here in Great Britain, murderers are sent to the gallows without exception. Presumably you read that much in your short C-based introduction to British law. We can't possibly agree to such a test. I mean, especially because what if he actually did it? Then the whole thing riding on, well, if you can defend him, you're good. But what if he actually did? We would be toying with a man's life. I'm the Lord Chief Justice, and I've decided it's acceptable. But you can't do that, can you? There's no need to overcomplicate this. All you have to do is ensure that you don't lose. So the defendant may live or die, depending on how well I perform in court. If I lose, he'll be hanged. I think the term is hung, buddy. Or maybe not. I don't know, actually. Mr. Naruhodo, you've come to me claiming to be a lawyer. If you want me to take you seriously, you need to prove you're willing to do a lawyer's job. And you say you intend to see through the will of your compatriot, Mr. Asogi. I would like to understand just how far you're willing to go in order to make that happen. He's testing my resolve. What's the matter? You've fallen silent. I'm sorry, but time is pressing. The trial begins shortly. I need an answer from you now. What's it to be? What do I say? Do I agree to this absurd test? Yeah, I'll do it. Alright then, if I have to give you a decision now, my answer is... I can't do it. I can't get the words out. 15 seconds. Your decision-making needs work if you want to be a lawyer. That was too slow. So, it's as I suspected, is it? Sorry? You have noble intentions, but lack the resolve to see them through. The test is cancelled. Thank you for stopping by. Go and acquire your ticket for passage back to the east tomorrow. This conversation is over. Yes, Lord Strongheart. Thank you for offering me a chance. Mr. Naruhodo. I'm sorry, Miss Sasato, but what could I do? It's all right. I understand. You do? It's not an easy decision to choose whether to defend a man in these circumstances, but resolve has absolutely nothing to do with it. What are you trying to say, madam? I think what Miss Sasato means is that no matter how badly I'd like to be recognized as a lawyer and stay here in Great Britain, to risk another man's life by treating his one and only chance at a trial so trivially would be utterly unforgivable, and I feel exactly the same way. I'm sure the defendant won't see this trial as a test, as some kind of experiment. Is this the test, actually? A lawyer may fight for his clients in court day after day, but for each one of those clients, the particular day they stand in the dock may be the only chance they have the fight to prove they're innocent. No, I was wrong. I'm not qualified to do that job yet. I'm sorry for wasting your precious time, Lord Chief Justice. Wait, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh! Is there something else? You forgot your jacket. Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's the one that makes me look like Raido Kuzunoha, right? Yeah, thanks. Okay. I'll be going. Yeah. It's approximately 20 minutes by carriage to the Old Bailey from here. If you leave immediately, you should still be there in time. But I just said that. I was quite serious in what I told you. The defendant in this case has literally no one to advocate for him. What? At this point, he can't hope to find someone to represent him. The trial will begin without a defense. And if that happens, there's only one possible outcome. He will receive the most severe sentence the judge can pass down. Not just death, but mega death. But that's awful. But that is the truth. Why does it have to be like this? Please don't expect an answer to every question. The cold, hard truth of the matter is that there is only one person now with a chance to save this man from a very miserable end. And that is you. I'm really his only hope? So, what do you say now, madam? Me? What do you mean, Mr. Strongheart? Lord Strongheart? You said it wasn't an easy decision to choose whether to defend a man in these circumstances, and I agree. But in my estimation, it is purely and simply a matter of resolve. Oh. Our time is up here. I have a meeting to attend. I must leave in 2 minutes and 16 seconds. So, venture into our great city and enjoy yourselves. He's a villain. He's a baddie. He's gone. The Old Bailey. If we're going to do this, Mr. Naruhodo, we must leave at once. Yeah, but what if we look at the desk? Mrs. Sato, can I just ask you something? Careful. From this position, I can perform a Susato takedown in an instant. I know. Mr. Naruhodo, you heard Lord Strongheart. The trial starts imminently. If I need to throw you, I will. I know. You know, you could just say, I think we should hurry to the courtroom. If you need to ask me anything, it had better wait until we're at the Old Bailey. Okay. That was, I just wanted to see. Yeah, okay. Well, let's go. Unless, can we converse? What to do? Mrs. Oh, no, she's literally like, get going right now. You need to go. This oppressive air, it's quite stifling. Grand stone architecture and architecture and the echoey tick of the vast cobwebs. Cogwheels lended an air of authority. Okay, so we're going to the Old Bailey, London's highest criminal court with an illustrious past. It's where I take my tests to prove my worthiness as a lawyer. We hurry and try and catch a cab. We may just make it to the courthouse in time. Okay, let's go. Wow, this looks like every other court lounge area I've ever been in. The Old Bailey, defendant's antechamber. Oh, thank goodness we're in time. There's still 15 minutes until the trial begins. I never knew a horse-drawn carriage could go so fast. I thought my teeth were going to rattle loose. Did you hear what I said to the driver when we climbed aboard? Get us to our destination in 5 minutes, driver, and there's a guinea in it for you. It's one of my favorite lines from the Sherlock Holmes stories, and it worked quite perfectly. I'm not sure why you're so pleased. I thought we were going to die, and we had to pay gold for the privilege. Well, at least we arrived here before the trial started. Yes, I suppose there's that. Anyway, I don't understand it. The court clerk said the defendant should be here, but there's no sign of him at all. Maybe he's just a little guy. Maybe he's just a small little guy. So this is the Old Bailey. Even this room for defendants to wait in is grand. Are you alright, Mr. Narhodo? I'm feeling tense, that's all. This place gives me the same sense of foreboding that I remember from the Supreme Court in Japan. An oppressive air, almost as if the building itself is going to crush whoever is about to be sentenced. It feels like only yesterday that I was the one about to be crushed. Yes, whoever the man you're to defend is, I imagine he's feeling very alone at this moment. Top of the morning to ya, madam, sir. I don't know, I need to see you. Oh, you're a... What are yous doing following me here? Tings are fair desperate, are they? Sorry? Would you look at those expressionless faces? From the east, are yous? We're from Japan, yes. Ah, Japan, is it? Right, say no more. So, how much do yous need? I don't know what accent you're going for. No, we're just here because... No need to explain, fella. I've been there myself, so I have. No place to go, nothing to eat, barely a penny to your name, all well in a strange, faraway land. Well, actually, we haven't found a place to stay yet, no. 'Tis grand, 'tis grand. Let me start by giving yous 1,000 guineas. Say nothing now. 1,000 guineas? That's a lot of pigs. Please, Mr. Sato, you don't have to shout. But 1,000 guineas is enough to build an entire mansion in the most prestigious area of Tokyo. What? 'Tis nothing to me at all. I like to ensure I have sufficient funds to weather a rainy day, you see. I've enough wealth to buy the city of London 2 or 3 times over. Did that much rain even fall in one day? Well, even so, we couldn't possibly accept such a large sum of money. Oh, it hit me in the eye! That would have looked amazing on the 3DS. Don't get me wrong, fella. I'm not giving it to you no strings attached. I'll be wanting you to do something for me. Oh? To be honest, 'tis a little embarrassing. The trial that's about to begin, you see, is for me good self here. I'll be in the dock. So now, what I want you to do is come along with me and stand there beside me. Visually, you'd be my lawyer, but that's just a little detail now. Oh, the thing is, don't worry about a ting. All you have to do is stand up there next to me, nothing more. Otherwise, you see, the trial is going to start without me having any kind of representation at all. So it was true. The Lord Chief Justice wasn't just making it all up. I'm terribly sorry to have to ask, but does that mean you're the defendant in this trial? Bluster and blazes! Do yous not know who I am? Me? One of London's biggest names? No, sorry. We've only just arrived in the city, you see. I see. I suppose it isn't altogether impossible. Well, just next to Hyde Park, there in the centre of London, is another beautiful park. Sorry? A park? What? 'Tis called McGilded Park, full of blossoming flowers in spring and singing birds and whatnot. I donated it to the city, so I did. Oh, an entire park in central London. A city of smiles, that's my vision for London. There's nothing Magnus McGilded wouldn't do for a city and its queer old people. That's amazing. I mean, really extraordinary. But now they've had the gall to say I'm a good-for-nothing criminal. Me, Magnus McGilded. What is the matter with the London police, I ask you? Oh, that's him. That's him breathing. All right, don't pass out. Mr. Naruhodo. Perhaps now would be a good time to introduce ourselves while the gentleman catches his breath. Good idea. Mr. McGilded, the thing is, we're actually here in London to study British law. We're law students on a study tour from Japan, you see. So, if you don't have a lawyer for the trial yet, and you'd be happy to put yourself in our hands, we'll do our best. What was I after saying, you daft Egypt? I've given you 1,000 guineas to stand up there next to me, haven't I? Well, yes, but I wasn't really offering just to stand up there next to you. Oh, I think I see what's going on here. Sorry. I know what you're thinking. This Chancellor of a fella claims to have more money than the Queen. But if that's true, why the blazes can't he hire the finest lawyer in all of England? Well, because he did it. That's the only explanation. Well, no, not at all. Not at all. Well, it's a little strange, to be honest. Why don't you have a lawyer, I mean? That would be the fault of the Reaper. Huh? Sorry? Did you just say Reaper? Aye, the Grim Reaper of the Bailey, Lord Baroque Van Zykes. He's the prosecutor. The prosecutor is the Grim Reaper? When the Van Zykes stand for the prosecution, they call the accused his sacrificial lambs. Baroque Van Zykes. Huh. And to this day, in every single trial in which he's been the prosecutor, the accused has been damned. Huh? So it's reached the desperate situation where there's no one willing to stand in defense against the fella. You could say he's a living legend of the Old Bailey. Goodness. Lord Baroque Van Zykes. He must have been an exceptionally talented prosecutor then. Talented isn't the word you're looking for, madam. Is cursed. Cursed? What on earth? Offended is summoned, and his counsel. Please make your way. I'm sorry, I said there'd be not as many accents, but they're gonna happen. You can't stop it. I pick the voice that I go with, and if it becomes British, it becomes British. I apologize. Please make your way to the courtroom. The trial is about to begin. His counsel, that would be me. Oh, it is time. Well then, fella, don't let me down. But I don't know anything about the case. You haven't told me what happened. Until you showed your face here. I'd made up my mind, so I had. Sorry? I decided I'd have to defend myself in there. How would that have worked? Well, then you made an appearance, a student of law, wouldn't you know? 'Tis no accident, I can assure you of that. 'Tis fate. So don't get cold feet now, please. I literally know nothing about the case or about this man who stands accused. In fact, the only thing I do know is that I can't turn my back on him. That's it. We can't. We literally can't. Mr. Naruhodo, the man is no one. He'll have to stand alone in that courtroom, armed with nothing to defend himself. Yes, something that Cosmo would have never allowed to happen. Counsel for the defense, what are you doing? If you're late for the start of the trial, you'll lose your right to stand. I'll be right there. It's happening then. My first trial in a British court. I hope you're watching over me, Kazuma. Because I have no idea how I'm going to manage this. So the last trial was pure investigation. Is this one going to be pure trial? I don't mind that. That's an interesting thing. Oh, that's pretty cool. That's pretty baller. 18th of February, 10 a.m. The Old Bailey courtroom. Oh, frick, what? Why is there 5? What? Whoa. Wait. Does this have a jury system? Oh, no. Oh, interesting. So this is the highest court in Great Britain, the Old Bailey. The centuries of history in this place is palpable, isn't it? It's so different to the Supreme Court in Japan. It feels both imposing and serene at the same time. The atmosphere here almost makes words redundant. Whatever the country, determining a person's guilt or innocence is always a solemn affair. May I say something, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh, yes, what? Your eyes look ready to pop out of your head again. I know, but I just can't help it. Oh, what's this? Oh my god! Oh, you're a big fluffy man. And the Baron there looks like Dracula from an anime-style Castlevania game.
In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. We are here today to determine the guilt or innocence of Mr. Magnus McGilded. I now call upon the counsels for the prosecution and defense to declare their willingness to proceed.
The prosecution is fully prepared. I don't know if he has a vampire voice or not, but I might go with it.
That must be the Reaper of the Bailey. He really does look fully prepared to dispatch his next poor victim to the underworld.
Counsel for the defense, you appear to be Eastern. Taking all of our jobs, I swear to God. Do you speak English?
Huh? Oh, yeah, yes, sir. Of course, sorry. But he asked if the defense was ready, and I couldn't be further from ready if I tried. You're kind of cool. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Those eyes please me. Nipponese.
I've never heard that before. I mean, it isn't, but it feels like a slur.
They shroud your fear, your doubt, your trepidation. They run wild, clinging to some phantom notion of courage. The quintessential look of a sacrificial lamb.
I think I'm gonna tone down the vampire, but give it that same cadence. A cold shiver just ran down my spine, all the way to the tips of my toes. Also, people told me apparently the Japanese version is even more racist. Well, let's not use racist. Racist? Let's not say racist. Let's say more racially motivated.
Now, Mr. McGilded,
Yes, my lord.
you stand accused of murder, capital offense. You could be sent to the gallows if found guilty. Are you quite sure you wish to entrust your defense to this
Foreigner? Oh no, I made a joke, but it was real. As I've always said, my lord, 'tis a grand thing to give opportunities to the young, even if this fella's a student from some little island off in the Far East. Is it not the British way to ignore the dangers to yourself and give those less fortunate a fair chance? I'd like to think that acts of chivalry do the great British Empire proud. Listen to Mr. McGilded, what a fine gentleman London has in him. Did you hear that he donated £5,000 to the government the other day? Mother, please, may we go and play in McGilded Park? Mother! It's Mother, please! It seems as though everyone in the public gallery is firmly behind Mr. McGilded. That's definitely welcome news. He certainly has a way with words. I'm surprised he couldn't convince anyone to defend him.
Eloquently put, Mr. McGilded, and most laudable sentiments. Now, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I'm sure I need hardly remind you that you 6 members of the public have been selected for your impartiality. Are you ready to proceed? Yes, my lord. If the task is to send rotters to the gallows where they belong, I'm more than ready.
At the manor, his lordship always says we should dispose of the rubbish promptly. Naturally, I agree.
Any criminals here will be soon wishing they never set eyes on me.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
I feel a chill.
Oh, don't mind me, my dears. I'll just be getting on with my knitting. Must finish these mitts for my grandson.
Mr. Naruhodo, those people are the jury. Yes, that's something we don't have in Japan yet. That's right. I've only ever read about it. But here in Great Britain, the court's final verdict depends on the opinions of these 6 jurors. The judge passes sentence according to the law, but the jurors determine guilt based on common sense. So the defendant is ultimately judged from 2 completely different points of view. But how exactly do jurors give their verdict? That I don't know, but... So does that have to be unanimous, like in most modern courts? I'm sure it'll become clear as the trial progresses. Yes.
Prosecutor Van Zykes?
My lord.
It's been a number of years since we've seen you here in the courtroom. I thought you renounced your fame.
I'm known as the Reaper of the Bailey, my lord. Infamy, rather than fame, I would say. But yes, 5 years have passed since I last spread my wings in this capacity.
So, what brings you back? Was there some change of circumstance of which the court should be aware?
I leave that to your imagination, my lord.
So the Reaper has been out of action for 5 years. Why did he have to choose to stay of all days to make a comeback? Do we have any profiles here? So he's 52, geez. He's older than Magnus?
What?
And he's 32, okay. Supposedly, the souls of those he prosecuted are eternally damned. Wonderful. Don't lose heart, Mr. Naruhodo.
As you wish, sir. The court nevertheless welcomes your return. Now then, opening statements, I think. A summary of the case, if you please.
Certainly, my lord. As your lordship is aware, this is a case of overwhelming simplicity.
We must be the only ones in here who aren't aware.
The incident took place in the late evening. 3 days passed. The hour was some minutes after 10. The victim was a maker of building bricks, known in the community as Thrice Fried Mason. Of course his name is Mason.
Sorry? Thrice?
He's 3 times, you stupid frickin' foreigner. He was a very accomplished craftsman. The bricks he fired were said to be almost indestructible.
The victim's corpse was discovered in an omnibus in service on the streets of London at the time. A dagger that had been thrust into the victim's abdomen is believed to be the ultimate cause of death. Here's the autopsy report from the investigating medical officer at Scotland Yard.
Thank you, counsel. I shall accept that and the photograph as evidence.
Autopsy report has been entered into the court record. Better not update this or I swear to God I'll gut you right here. Internal hemorrhaging as a result of a single stab wound in the abdomen. Photograph. A knife is clearly visible, but his face is partially obscured by an old crooked cap.
And one further item of evidence. The prosecution wishes to submit these as well.
But these are... Good lord! Is it blood, counsel?
Yes, my lord. Seized by a policeman who arrived at the scene. These gore-soaked gloves were taken from the hands of the accused when he was arrested.
What? Mr. McGilded's gloves had blood on them? Literally caught red-handed.
Yes, I will accept these as evidence as well.
That's not good. How did I get into this? I'm backed into a corner before I've even started.
Continuing. According to the driver of the omnibus, There were only 2 passengers traveling inside his vehicle at the time.
Only 2?
Obviously, one of those passengers was the deceased brickmaker, Mr. Mason. The other?
That's a strong point. Oh, that's a good, powerful one. Even the fact he's not even doing like a full point, he's got kind of like a half-cocked one, that's strong. That's real good.
Was the accused, Magnus, rather.
Well, rather damning circumstances, to say the least. Defendant, what say you?
How do you now try to defend yourself? Well, of course, I have no recollection of such a thing. Mr. McGill did. To be sure, I rode the omnibus that evening, but whenever I'm in a carriage, I'm taken with a fierce tiredness, and I always succumb to it.
Are you claiming to have been asleep?
And 'tis the motion of the carriage, my lord. Lilton, so it is, and when I opened my eyes again, 'twas a desperate sight before me, the body of a man I'd never laid eyes on before in me life. Now I ask yous, what good-hearted soul wouldn't rush to help a fella bleeding from his stomach? I mean, to be fair, I agree. You'd go, oh God, and try to help him by putting your hand there to stop the bleeding. I wasn't about to start worrying about me gloves now, was I? I reached out to give the man a hand. So the blood got onto the gloves then after the man had been killed.
Unfortunately, that statement of the driver's is only the beginning.
Why? That's not all of it?
There were multiple witnesses to the precise moment at which the brickmaker was fatally stabbed.
Oh no. Oh no.
Order! Order! Order!
Sure.
When the killing took place, only the victim and the accused were inside the carriage, and there were witnesses to the crime. This is not just a case of compelling evidence. It's the nail in the coffin for the accused.
Thank you, counsel. The circumstances of the crime have been made quite clear. I think we'll have to hear testimony from these witnesses first of all.
Your wish is my command. Bailiff, bring the witnesses in at once.
Who do we got? Oh! Okay. Various states of gentlemen.
Witnesses, your names and occupations.
My name is, well, everyone calls me Beppo. I drive an omnibus in the East End.
Bruce Fairplay. I'm a banker in the city.
My name's First. Lady The Will of D! Oh my god, Lady First. Ladies First. Shut up. Shut up! That's such a good name. I make hats for gents. You're a woman in disguise. I'm calling that right now. Lady First. You're a woman in disguise. I'm calling that right now.
It's Beppo.
So he's the driver of the omnibus. He's in the banker. Bruce Fairplay. Lady First.
Let's begin by confirming the facts. 3 days ago, at a short time after 10 o'clock in the evening, all of you present in the stand were in an omnibus and witness to the aforementioned incident. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Quite right.
Yes, sir, that's right.
Very well, then. Let's proceed to your formal testimonies, please. Each of you will tell the court precisely what you saw.
All right, what do we got? What do we got? Ooh, fancy witness testimony. What the witnesses saw.
It was the last bus of the evening, so I had few customers. I remember it well.
The victim and the man accused of killing him were sat next to each other inside the bus. Then out of the blue, the accused just reached over and plunged a knife right into his guts.
That's right, he stabbed him. I screamed, I did. Couldn't help it. As soon as I heard the scream, I stopped on my bus, and then I saw it too.
Unambiguous testimony, I must say.
Exactly, my lord. These men witnessed the incident in the omnibus with their own eyes. I'd like to ask a question, if I may.
Yes, counsel.
Well, this testimony makes absolutely no sense to me whatsoever. Why not? Well, the incident took place inside a moving carriage, didn't it? As has been clearly stated from the outset, yes. Well, in that case, how could those two witnesses possibly have seen what happened? There's no way they could have seen the inside of the moving carriage. How quaint. I'd read that civilization in the Eastern Island nations was a good century behind our own, but you're here in London yourself. Are you really so ignorant about our omnibuses? Huh? Tell me, my Nipponese friend, have you ever traveled in an omnibus? No. We only arrived in London this morning. No matter. I've arranged for us all to see for ourselves. The actual scene of the crime, that is. What? What do you mean, the actual scene? How? A carriage is... Oh, wow, are they bringing it into the courtroom? That's cool. A carriage is designed to be moved, after all. Presumably you understand that much. Yes. The omnibus in which this bloody crime took place is here today in this very building. Here? What? The entire carriage? Bailiff, bring forth the stricken omnibus. I swear if it's in the... Oh my god, it's just right here. It's just in the middle of the courtroom. Shut up. So that's an omnibus. Well, the omnibus. I can't believe they could bring something so enormous in here. Great Britain's courtrooms are amazing. As you can see, the omnibus is pulled by 2 horses and can carry up to 8 passengers. 4 passengers seated inside in the enclosed cabin, and another 4 on the rooftop deck above. Every Londoner knows that the best views of the city's architecture and sights are to be had from the... Oh, wait, were they killed in the top? That would be both good and bad. One bad because everyone could see it happen, but good as in, you know that it's not a closed-room murder. And I should point out to our foreign guests. Oh, that there's a skylight in the roof, allowing a view of the interior from the seats above. A skylight? Oh! The penny drops at last, I see. These 2 gentlemen were occupying the rooftop seats of the omnibus when the murder took place. This is how they came to witness the grim incident. Through the skylight. That makes perfect sense.
Well, counsel, this is a first. In all my years behind the bench, I've never experienced the crime scene itself being brought into the courtroom.
There are a number of important clues remaining inside the carriage, my lord. I would like to submit the omnibus itself as evidence. Oh, well, that's a way we can examine it. That is the prosecution's wish.
Very well. I see no reason why not. This omnibus is formally accepted as evidence.
The 8-seater omnibus that was the scene of the crime, there were passengers both inside the carriage and on the roof of the deck that night. Okay. Can't believe it. The entire crime scene entered as evidence. Yes, Great Britain is simply extraordinary. I could help myself a lot by giving that omnibus a thorough examination, seeing as it's here. Which will do. We'll take a look at all these. Stabbed once, died due to internal hemorrhaging from the trauma. Okay. Button missing. That's going to be important. That's it. That's all I got for that. The gloves.
Okay, I don't see much. Can't find anything out of place. This is definitely blood, isn't it? Not the most pleasant sight to be confronted with on the first day in London. Well, nothing will come out of grumbling now. No. By the way, is Mr. McGilded right-handed? Yes, I believe so. He was toying with the coin in his right hand a little earlier. Pity. If only he'd been left-handed. Then he would be regarded as a devil child among the populace, because that was a thing at the time. I think blood on either glove would be fairly incriminating, really. Sippy sippy. Alright. Can we, like, just look at this whole thing? Okay, so I can't go to the bottom. Get the skylight here. Let's see. I click to open it. Oh, shoot. Oh, never mind. Well, let's open the door and go inside, shall we? The scene of a murder. It's horrible. Nice. What's this? This seat has a handle, it seems. Okay. This looks like all sorts of equipment that might be needed to keep the omnibus running. Feeding tubes, tools to repair wheels, blankets, horseshoeing tools. So it's a storage compartment for the coachman to keep his things, it seems. There doesn't seem to be any space for passengers to stow their luggage, that's for sure. Well, I don't imagine it'd be very convenient for that purpose anyway. But a person could wrap themselves up and hide in there. Absolutely. A small little fella. Ah, that's a poster for the great exhibition that's due to start 6 months from now. There's a lot of focus being drawn to the Crystal Tower, the centerpiece of the whole... That's the second time we've heard that. Centerpiece of the whole exposition. Oh, the Crystal Tower. It's under construction already, I believe. People all over London must be fizzing with excitement at the prospect of such a grand event. Now's not the time to be having that conversation, but okay. It's quite a large skylight, isn't it? Yes, quite large enough to afford a good view into the cabin from the roof deck. And there doesn't appear to be a handle or catch of any description. So I suppose it can't be opened from the inside the cabin, at least. Okay. Ah, that's a poster for the great exhibition that's due to start 6 months from now. Wait, that's... yeah, Crystal Tower, you're right. Well... That's blood that soaked into the seat. The victim's, obviously. Yes, and that seat would be clearly visible from the roof deck. Would you really stab someone in full view of the other passengers like that, I wonder? Well, it was after dark, and there was a lamp on in here, so perhaps the culprit couldn't see anything outside through the skylight. Whichever way you look at it, it doesn't seem like it was a planned attack. Let's see. This is a cool idea, though. Being able to go to the crime scene in the middle of the investigation. Have you seen enough? Let's step back outside, then. That goes back down. So then, yeah, let's take a look around otherwise, though. Let's see. Wait, what? What do you mean Phoenix Wright Omnibus? What? That's confusing. Why would it say that? Why that's just confusing. Oh, didn't mean to click on that. This is the roof deck of the omnibus. Oh, you must have a wonderful view of London streets from up here. So people sit all the way up here on bitter winter nights with the cold air rushing past them? And they have to pay money to do so? Oh, I can't imagine how cold it must feel. That just made me think of something horrible. Can you imagine being dragged around the city in the freezing cold as a punishment? Perhaps that is the real price you pay to stay out late. So that's considered checked, okay. I don't think there's anything really else for us to look at, per se. So we looked at that. We looked at that. The Phoenix Wright Omnibus is confusing. Why would it say that?
Let us continue with proceedings then, cross-examination, counsel.
Pray don't expect these Nipponese stray to understand the intricacies of A British court's cross-examination rights. All right, my first cross-examination in a British court.
Everyone's just like, why would you do that? That's very strange.
Focus, Ryunosuke, focus. All right. Oh, the stained glass. That's very cool what the witnesses saw.
It was the last bus of the evening, so I had a few customers. I remember it well. Old Beppo.
Hold it!
Tell me more about that, Beppo. Yes, I think it was sometime after 10, wasn't it?
Oh, yes, sir, that's right, sir, yes. Ever so cold it was, sir, and freezing, in fact.
Okay, so we can also look for the reactions. Okay, cool, that's still here. And you had 4 passengers on board at the time, correct?
Yes, that's right, sir. Not all traveling in the same parts of the bus, of course, though, no.
But there were no other passengers when the incident took place? No one alighted, for example?
You're quite right with that, sir. No other passengers like that, no, none.
I'm watching. So nobody fled the scene of the crime then.
I have to say, the boss insists on it running. He does every evening. The last bus of the day. But I do wonder sometimes if it's altogether worthwhile. Yes, sorry to say.
What do you mean by that?
Well, what with it being so cold and everything, and only making 20 pence on the run, you see. Yes, I spend that much in the pub on my way home just trying to warm up again.
Wow, that sounds like hell, buddy.
The victim and the man accused of killing him were sat next to each other inside the bus.
Okay. Next to each other, you say? Next to each other? That'd be a very difficult stab. You saw them through the skylight in the roof of the carriage?
That's right. When you sit up on the top deck, the window's right there at your feet. There was a lamp on inside, so I had a pretty good view.
Yeah, they're beside each other. What are you talking about? That's weird then. But you would only be able to see if there was... you wouldn't see the other side.
The 2 of them were wearing hats, so I couldn't exactly make out their faces. But there's not a shred of doubt in my mind that it was Mr. McGilded.
How can you be so sure?
Well, how can I put it politely? Mr. McGilded is a gentleman of rather small...
Oh, he's meant to be a leprechaun 100%.
I couldn't have mistaken him for anyone else.
Let's not forget that when the vehicle came to a halt, the only people inside the enclosed cabin were the deceased Mr. Mason and Mr. McGilded. There's no room for doubt here. I really wish there was. I think there was someone else either on the other side or hiding in the part that you left up.
And out of the blue, the accusers reached over and plunged a knife right into his guts.
You actually saw the exact moment it happened?
Didn't I already testify to that? Or our fair dinkum?
Dinkum?
Fair dinkum hardworking city bankers not considered trustworthy these days.
Oh, buddy. Oh, no, I didn't mean that. This is no good. I've really got his back up. I've really got his... Wait, what? What's that say? Sorry. I've really got his back up. Strange.
Oh, my lord.
Juror number 3, what's the meaning of this?
My mind is made up, my lord. Completely and utterly made up.
Made up about what?
Oh, I didn't like the stinking rich. I don't like the stinking rich. Never have. They're always up to something or something or other. They shouldn't be. Every one of them. And that little leprechaun of a man is no exception. Well, he can't fool me.
Oh, shoot. Whoa.
Well, there's no point in wasting time listening anymore of this. That's my opinion on the matter anyway.
That's precisely what I was about to say.
Oh, shoot.
As a foreman of the jury, it's my duty to set a good example to my fellow jurors.
What is happening here? Let me see. Yes, it seems that's how the members of the jury give their verdicts. With fire?
Apparently, yes. White for innocent and black for guilty. As the 6 members of the jury make up their minds about the case, one by one they each cast a ball of fire into the great scales of justice, as we saw a moment ago. So if those enormous scales fall completely to the black side, does that mean... Let's do our very best to make sure that doesn't happen. I'm even more worried than I was before.
Very well, the court acknowledges a change in the jury's stance. Counsel for the defense, please continue with your cross-examination.
This is a nightmare.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He stabbed me. He stabbed him. I screamed. I did. Couldn't help it.
Whoops, let's go back. First.
Hold it!
He stabbed him, you say? And you were sitting up on the roof deck, were you?
Yes, that's right, sir. I was up on the roof seats. I remember seeing the little gent sitting next to the fellow that was stabbed. I'd been thinking about a new hat design, you see, so I was gazing absentmindedly around. Oh, but then I happened to look down through the skylight. Oh, it was sticking right out of his belly. That huge, great knife.
A grim sight indeed.
That didn't help me at all. Yes, you clean lady. The jury looks like they're even more convinced my client did it than they were before. That appears to have made everyone even more dubious that Mr. McGilded is telling the truth. If only we had some evidence to counter their suspicions.
Mr. First,
Oh, yes, sir.
is this the knife you saw?
Oh, good grief. Yes, that's it. The very one, sir.
Is that...
Yes, counsel. This is the blade that was driven into the victim's belly like a stake through the heart.
See? He's a vampire.
That is a blade of considerable size, counsel.
It's not that. I think it's not that big. It's decently sized, and it's fine.
Oh no.
It is. And furthermore, the scabbard is emblazoned prominently with a certain initial. The letter M.
Which seems oddly... That could mean anything. Please, no.
M. For Magnus, perhaps? Or McGilded, possibly? Take your pick. It seems this particular big name in London made a magnificent mistake.
Objection!
But there are M's everywhere. Yes, like in Mason?
Objection!
Oh, he has a fancy objection.
This blade is far too extravagant for a poor brickmaker to have owned. No, this weapon of murder almost certainly belongs to the accused.
Yeah.
Not conclusive, but certainly compelling, counsel.
The murder weapon has been added to the court record. Maybe it's a W for Wumbus.
That could literally be a W, actually. An ornate letter M. Undeniably, Mr. Magnus McGilded's initial... Buddy, that could be a W. And it's beautifully gilded, too. It must be very valuable, I should think. Oh, what is it? Look at this M. If you turn upside down, it becomes a W. This could change everything. A W? Yes, this is one of those, turnabout cases. I'm sure of it. I'm afraid I don't know it all, but what I am sure of is that this is an M. Well, that idea was quickly quashed. Never mind. Maybe it's an E. Can I not unsheath it? That part is the sheath, isn't it? Are you all right, Mr. Naruhodo? Huh? Oh, sorry, yes. I just don't really like blades. Oh. Those don't seem like the words of a man with a large katana slung from his waist. That's not a blade, that's Kazuma's soul. Anyway, there's no sense in delaying it. Let's see what the blade looks like. Oh yeah, that's a knife. That looks a lot like blood. It surely is blood, the victim's. An Englishman's blood looks a lot like a Japanese man's blood. Buddy, I'm gonna blow your mind and tell you we're all red on the inside. Do you think it wouldn't? Sorry, it's just that we've only just arrived here in Great Britain. I haven't considered what everyone looks like inside yet. I'm finding it a little hard to adjust. Yes, I do understand. Okay. Nothing in there. Yeah, okay, nothing really to say about it. My lord, if you'll forgive the interruption.
Oh, juror number 2. Go on.
Mr. McGilded is a pillar of society and a gentleman, and a gentleman's words should be sacrosanct. Sacrosanct? No. Thank you for teaching me new words. Sacrosanct. Wow. However, those of us in service know we must accept hard truths. Wait! What are you about to do? Dispose of the rubbish. This is going wonderfully. No! I don't wish to cause offense, but I do like to eradicate all trace of filth and grime. Ma'am? I have painstakingly typed every word uttered here today and cross-referenced all the facts. As such, I am now in a position to draw the only logical conclusion. We're like one away, aren't we? Not again. That's 4. Oh no, there's 6. 4 out of 6 jury members who proposed a guilty verdict. There are only 2 left. We've had it. Every time I press these witnesses for more information, I just make the situation worse. Nevertheless, what we need now more than anything in the moment is more information. We're still very much in the dark. I suppose I'll just have to keep pressing the witnesses, knowing that more sparks may well fly. We mustn't give up hope that we'll uncover something that will give us a way to fight back. But... alright, I'll keep trying. I can't give up. I just need to keep calm and listen to the witnesses' statements again. Well, as soon as I heard the scream, I stopped at my bus, and then I saw it too. So wait, then how did...
Hold it!
Yeah, what exactly did you see? Can you be specific about that, please? Oh, well, sir, that would be the passenger, sir. Yes, collapsed on the floor he was. And by passenger, obviously you were referring to the victim, Mr. Mason, the brickmaker. And the other passenger had the knife in his hand, like this. By the other passenger, obviously you were referring to the accused, Mr. Magnus McGilded. And then he plunged it in like this, stabbing the other passenger in the belly. What? So wait, how did you...
My lord, I wish to speak. Yes, juror number 5. Do I take it that you two, not Wilfred Brimley, are the master of the London Guild coachman? The idea of a murder being committed by the city's characters is utterly abhorrent to me. But it wouldn't be right to make a decision before hearing all the facts, though, I said to myself. Okay, well, here I go. But I've heard enough now. The horse is bolted, as they say.
No, please, just keep an open mind a little.
Get up now, Silver Blaze, and finish it in sight.
Great.
Bamber was a long-standing member of the guild, not sure what the man says.
Oh, thank you, sir. You're too kind, sir.
This is too unkind, sir. Which now means that 5 jurors agreed to condemn the man. They can change their minds, right?
Oh.
Madam Juror number 6.
Yes, dear. What can I do for you?
You have heard the testimonies of the witnesses in the stand.
Oh, yes. I certainly have. Still got my hearing, you know.
Then pray tell, why are you yet to pronounce your leaning?
Well, dear, the thing is, I'm a creature of habit, me. I always go to the park at around this time of day and sit on a nice bench and get on with my knitting. There's a lovely little park just near where I live. McGilded Park, it's called. The gentleman donated it to the city, you know, to put a smile on Londoners' faces, he said. I can't imagine such a fine young gentleman would have it in him to take another man's life.
He's always doing wonderful things for the city. That's right, a man like that wouldn't stab anyone, surely.
Mother, may we go to McGilded Public Library and borrow some more books?
How many Londoners live with their heads in the clouds? Do you people not know what kind of a man Magnus McGilded really is?
What kind of a man he is?
The philanthropist. Magnus McGilded has enough wealth to purchase the entire city he claims to value so highly. But where did all that wealth come from? Your client is a Shylock, sir, and one with the very darkest of souls.
This is the Dark Souls of Londoners. What? Dark Souls?
Stone the crows!
McGilded lends money at extortionate rates of interest, so his victims have no hope of repaying him. When they default, he takes possession of everything they own. He's a vulture that preys on the weak.
I mean, I could figure that out pretty much immediately.
I've never heard any mention of that before.
Your faculties haven't deserted you, I'm sure, madam. So has this thought not crossed your mind? Would a man wealthy enough to buy London in its entirety not have a carriage of his own?
What if he just doesn't like driving? Ever consider that, dude? Have you ever just considered that some people don't like to drive? Maybe he can't stop himself acting up around horses, you know?
What possible reason could this man have had to make use of a public omnibus service?
You're not saying that...
The victim, a poor brickmaker, had next to nothing to his name, save considerable financial liability. It will come as no surprise that his creditor was the accused, Magnus McGilded. But let it also be known that the very day Mr. Mason was killed, oh no, was the final repayment date for his debts.
Good gracious!
The brickmaker was destitute. He had lost his house. He had not a shilling with which to repay his debts. And in the end, this pitiful soul had the very last thing he owned taken from him, his life. By the merciless philanthropist pretender, Magnus McGilded.
I don't believe it. Oh, if I might add something briefly, Mrs. Otto. You claim that the victim had been lent money by Mr. McGilded, but where's the evidence to support your claim? Did he always have the glass and the... Oh no, because that's a new prop. I swear to God if you throw this glass. I swear to God if you throw this glass.
Pray forgive the discourtesy of filling my hollowed chalice in the court of law.
Oh, there it is! Lord Van Dyke's hollowed chalice. Oh, it's so cool.
How can this be considered acceptable?
But I find myself in an unexpectedly good humor. I'd heard ladies from the Far East could show great courage, but I didn't expect to experience it myself. I have somewhat of a thing for Oriental women, you see, and we're just like, oh, don't use that word. Oh, don't use that word. Oh, buddy, why would you say that?
As judicial assistant to the defense, I'm simply doing my job.
What a pity that your display of courage is in vain. This is the debtor's ledger, which details all monies loaned by the accused. You'll find the victim's name clearly recorded inside.
Oh.
Allow me to present this ledger as evidence.
I swear to God if you throw this glass.
And pray, forgive the discourtesy of raising my chalice in a toast to the enigmatic East at the same time.
A marvelous toast, Counsel. I will gladly accept this new evidence.
Debtor's ledgers. I like this judge a lot more than the first one, who owed him 20 guineas. Wait, If he had no money, how did he pay for the carriage?
Oh yes, 20 guineas. Victimony, considerable sum.
And the accused made quite certain he had ample recompense.
Well, it would seem I've had the wool pulled over my eyes.
Regrettably, madam, that is the modus operandi of the accused.
I don't know what those words mean. And it's such a pretty little park, too. What a scoundrel.
Oh no! Don't you dare.
Still. Maybe it's all for the best.
Wait a minute. Let's think about this a little more before...
I don't stand for nonsense.
So did we just lose? That was it. The last juror's decision. It's not over yet. The judge has to call it, right? According to this encyclopedia of British law, when all members of the jury have concluded that the defendant is guilty, court proceedings are suspended and the presiding judge will deliver the... Oh no! That's what it says here. The final verdict. It's over then. Oh! There's a footnote, though. A footnote. However, the defense... What?
All 6 members of the jury are now in agreement in this case.
Can you talk faster, Sussy-chan?
Allow me to convey my respect for your swift and righteous decision.
According to the laws of this country, I will now conclude the trial by delivering my final verdict. Trust there are no objections.
Buddy, now's your time. Buddy, now's your time. Mrs. Sato, just tell me one thing. Oh, yes? You were in the middle of saying something before. The footnote in your Encyclopedia of British Law. However, the defense... What did it say next? Oh, yes, of course. One moment. Why'd you close it? When all members of the jury have concluded that the defendant is guilty, court proceedings are suspended, and the presiding judge will deliver the final verdict and sentence. Then the footnote says, however, the defense has the right to demand a summation examination of the jurors at this point. Oh? Summation? Examination?
Objection!
A summation examination. From which century has that tome you have there been resurrected?
Oh,
Judging from the binding, I would say that the book is at least 50 years old. Any modern text on British law wouldn't even give such an antiquated procedure a mention. It's a relic, long forgotten, and certainly no longer practiced. So you're out of luck.
oh. Oh, he picks it up. What even is it, Miss Sasato? This so-called summation examination. Oh, one moment, and I'll read about it.
You would demand the right to a procedure before you even understand what it entails?
Typical Nipponese. I hate that word. It sounds horrible. Alright, Mr. Naruhodo, I think I understand. It seems that under this procedure, we would be able to appeal to the members of the jury. To do what, exactly? Appeal to them to change their leaning and reverse their decisions. And it says here that, if successful, the proceedings of the trial must be resumed. Make them reverse their decisions.
Yes, in times gone by, barristers would use a summation examination to attempt to influence the jury's decision. But that procedure had been somewhat of a formality with no practical benefit, really, so it fell out of use.
I wonder why.
Because it was devoid of purpose. Changing just one member of the jury's mind would be hard enough, let alone several. No self-respecting defense barrister would even assert his right to try in this day and age.
Still, I don't see any mention of the procedure actually being formally revoked.
What are you suggesting?
I'm suggesting that although it may be antiquated and largely forgotten, it isn't yet extinct. What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo?
I mean, it's our only thing we can do.
Summation examination. Our last possible option. Do we assert our right to carry it out or admit to... of course we're going to assert our right. What do you take me for? The defense wishes to assert its right to a summation examination, my lord.
Objection!
You can't object to that. We're within our rights. London is the capital city of the most powerful nation on earth. We have a duty to the world to exemplify the very highest standards of judicial procedure. Summation examinations are an embarrassment that should remain buried. No, you. But if it's our right, it's our right. I believe it could prove vital in this trial.
The defense's petition is perfectly valid. The court will proceed with the summation examination.
This is madness. I would say this is Sparta, but that doesn't come around till Ace Attorney Apollo Justice, am I right? Heyo, that's a joke for my old heads out there.
Foreman, are you and the remainder of the jury ready? I'm not, there was no mention of this in the letter I received, you see, so, all members of the jury will be asked to explain on what grounds they have reached their decision. On what grounds? You must all testify your decisions and explain why you believe the defendant to be guilty. Well, my lord, or rather, putting us on the spot.
This is most irregular. No mention was made of this before.
I don't really hold myself with all this justifying luck.
That seems to have thrown the jurors off. Seems none of them have experienced this before. All right then, the summation examination. A defense procedure no practicing lawyer has attempted for years, is it? Well, just maybe. It might be the opportunity we've been looking for to turn this trial around.
So be it then, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. The court hereby calls upon you to state the grounds on which you find the defendant Magnus McGilded guilty of this most serious crime.
So we gotta convince them all? Are you serious, all of them? The jurors' contentions.
There is no one else inside the carriage at the time, so it has to have been him.
I trust the driver. He has an excellent memory, it seems. 4 passengers with fares totaling 20 pence.
He's stuck with the chap right next to him like this. Brazen, I must say, absolutely brazen.
I have simply typed and collated all the statements made thus far and drawn the logical conclusion.
You can trust the guild. Fair fares are our motto. We haven't raised prices over 4 pence for years.
A scoundrel stabbing that poor man on the floor beggars belief.
I'm starting to wish I haven't pushed for this now. Some of the jurors don't seem to have wonderfully formed arguments, though, do they? Well, let's see what we can do. We need to get these 6 people to change their minds. I'll have to throw everything I can at them and use some very persuasive language. Just a moment, Miss Naruhodo. According to my book, that's not quite how it works. Oh? I thought I was going to have to thaw their icy minds with some heartwarming rhetoric about the defendant. Unfortunately, once the jurors have decided the defendant is guilty, they're unlikely to heed anything the defense says. But then, they've reached their conclusions by their own reasoning, you see. Your pleas will sound like excuses. In fact, it could recoil on you. The more you try to persuade them, the more entrenched they may become. And what on earth am I supposed to do? Oh dear, I'm just citing what I've read about it, British law, Mr. Naruhodo. Right, I'm sorry. Do you have any idea how to make this work then? Well, from what I can understand, the key to this procedure is using the jurors' own words to make your arguments. What do you mean? Well, the 6 members of the jury are randomly selected members of the public. They may appear to present a united front, but the truth is, they are complete strangers who just happen to find themselves here in the courtroom together. And that's the way to break them down, you mean? Yes, exactly. We must listen very carefully to what each member of the jury says and see if we can identify any contradictory statements. If we can then contrast the statements and pit the corresponding jurors against... Oh, interesting. I see, so it's contradictions in what 2 or more of the jurors say that we're looking for. In a way, then, this is similar to regular cross-examination. Oh, yes, I suppose you're right. Find contradictions in their statements and pit the jurors against one another to break them down. All right, I might be able to pull this off. No, that's not right. Oh, 2 slaps. I have to pull this off.
Well, can you stop doing that? It's so weird. Can we start proceedings, counsel? I would ask you to take the stand for this. I'm expecting a clear and concise rebuttal.
Yes, my lord. Oh, frick, we get to go up front. Jury examination. The defense's rebuttal.
There was no one else inside the carriage at the time, so it had to be him.
So can I, like, present their words? I can press to pit. Okay, I see. I trust the driver. He has an excellent memories. 4 passengers with fares totaling 20 pence. Wait, 20 pence. Wait, totaling 20 pence. And then this one was fare prices. We haven't raised above 4 pence for years. That's, I can literally see right here. 4 passengers totaling 20 pence. That 4 times 4 is not 20. That would be 4 times 5. Those 2 statements clearly contradict each other.
They do? Explain yourself, counsel.
Me? Oh dear, what have I said?
My swear and so blazes made him name. First idea what you're talking about.
According to the oh, yo, he's walking. There's walking. I haven't seen an Ace Attorney character walk since I played Marvel vs. Capcom 3, the ultimate version. According to the group testimony we've heard so far, there were 4 passengers on the omnibus on the night in question, and according to the coachman, Mr. Beppo, he took 20 pence in fares. Quite right, I have the precise details typed neatly in front of me. And juror number 5 also told us the following. The fare for the omnibus is always 4 pence.
But it is a very convenient single price. That's the way London's carriages should be operated.
But that doesn't add up at all. In fact, it leaves a glaring discrepancy in the facts.
Why, man, why?
4 passengers paying 4 pence each. If you do the multiplication, which I'm not good at, but let me try my best, it would be 16 pence. Exactly. As I said, it doesn't add up. The figures are different. By 4 pence, in fact. Or precisely 1 person's fare.
1 person's fare?
Yes, in other words, on the omnibus that night, it's distinctly possible. There was another passengers we've heard nothing about.
Good gracious!
And they couldn't see because look at how the seats were.
This can't be right. A coachman and the guild are good, honest men. Want to know? Trustworthiness is our watchword.
The figures your coachman claims most certainly do not add up. Your watchword, good sir, is a fallacy.
I beg your pardon.
Mr. Guildmaster, I think you ought to consider that if this trial were to end now, the news will surely spread all over London. The news that one of your coachmen tried to hide the fact that he lets nefarious characters ride his omnibus.
All right, then, how do I make it so this miserable trial doesn't end,
Well, according to my book here, you simply launch a ball of fire onto the innocent side of the set of the scales.
Now hold your horses there, coachman. We were all in agreement. Why do you have to go and... Wait till I get my hands on you, Beppo. Hoo-ha! Oh, this is all very irritating.
Begging your pardon, sir. I'm going to do the same. Why is that guy in the left there seemingly such a suspicious one? He feels like the ringmaster.
For the love of Mike, not you as well.
A penny can be the difference between a smile and a tear, after all. I certainly can't put my trust in someone who doesn't follow my exacting standards in financial matters.
Oh, really?
I, for one, think it's only proper that we hear from the witnesses again. Oh, well done, Mr. Naruhodo, you did it! If we can manage to change 2 more jurors' minds. Oh, it only has to be 2 more, okay. We can force the trial to continue. 2 more, actually. There is something else that's bothering me about a couple of their assertions. Then that's where you must strike next. So I need to pit 2 more jurors against each other and show there's another contradiction in their assertions. Exactly, you can do it. Alright.
Well, the scales of justice have shifted, but they still weigh heavy on the side of guilt. Counsel, you have the floor again. Continue with your summation examination.
All right, let's see here. What's another one? I'm changing my leaning. Slipshod bookkeeper.
He stuck a chap right next to him. Like this. Brazen, I must say, absolutely brazen.
Wait, right here. So you're saying stuck in. You're saying stuck in on the floor. That's impossible.
Objection.
How could it be like that and also on the floor? Those two statements are completely contradictory.
What? Explain, counsel, post-haste.
Oh, dearie me, I was only knitting a jumper for my other half.
Why is he so small?
What's all this claptrap? What does contradictory even mean, I ask you?
We've heard from more than one witness that they allegedly saw the actual moment the defendant stabbed the victim. Now, out of curiosity, juror number 3.
What? Can't you see I'm busy here?
How would you say the defendant stabbed the victim? What sort of motion was it?
Huh, want to test me, do ya? It was like this. Stuck the fellow right next to him without getting up. Just like the prim banker said.
Yes, that was Mr. Fairplay's testimony, quite true.
Now then, juror number 6.
Oh, is that me, is it? What can I do for you, young man?
How would you say the defendant stabbed the victim, madam?
Oh, well, dear, as far as I understand it, it was like this. He stabbed the poor man after he'd collapsed on the floor. The coachman said so.
Now don't move. Take a look at these two jurors. He stuck the fellow right next to him without getting up. And he stabbed the poor man after he'd collapsed on the floor.
Well, I never. They're stabbing in totally different directions.
What? Bless my stitches, what a muddle.
What this tells us is that there's a strong possibility one of the witnesses isn't telling the truth.
Oh. But why? Why the dickens would they lie?
I don't know that yet. But what I do know is that if the trial ends at this point, we may never find out. We may never know the real truth. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, can you really let that happen in all good conscience?
Lies, you say? Oh, dearie me. I can't abide people telling lies. No, papa. Eating sugar? No, papa. Open your mouth. Ha ha ha.
The scales.
I don't believe it.
Oh yeah?
Wait. Now hear this, my fellow jurors. I warn you, you cannot listen to this man. Look at him in his black suit. He's some devious Eastern sorcerer using mage magic on all of us.
I almost said magecraft. I've been bred to not use the word magic lightly. I don't know what voice I'm giving this guy. If I could use some magic, do you really think I'd be putting myself through all this?
Answer me this, Dark Jinx.
Actually, I'm a Dark Kadabra card. I'm one of the few Dark Pokemon that came out in the TCG in the early Gold and Silver era. Huh? Me?
What exactly is the problem? What if two of the witnesses have slightly different recollections of the events?
Well, that's not how reality works, brother. What of it?
Let's say the Shylock did stab the victim as he sat next to him on the omnibus, and this young dandy saw him do it. And now let's say the victim collapsed on the floor, and then the Shylock stabbed him again, and this old lady saw him do it. Well, what's to say it didn't happen like that,
Oh, you calling a dandy, sir? Why, I should take this knife to you. Who are you calling old? Why, I should take this needle to you and shove it right up your urethra.
They're ready to kill each other now. And she said urethra. That word makes me uncomfortable. Oh, the way he adjusted is so cute. But could the foreman of the jury be right? Did the two witnesses see two different moments of the same crime? No. There's only blood on one part of the seat, dude. Unfortunately, Mr. Foreman.
What is it, you Dark Jinx? Come on, out with it.
What you're suggesting is impossible. It's out of the question.
What are you talking about, man? How could you possibly say that? You do realize I'm only doing my job. As foreman of the jury, I have a responsibility to steer everyone in the right direction. So where's your evidence, man? That's what we want to see. I say the two witnesses saw two different moments of the same crime. If you say that's out of the question, show me proof.
It looks like the only way I'm going to convince him is to present him with something he can't dismiss. Some irrefutable hard evidence, or we could say that there's only the one stab wound, that too.
What?
As you wish, sorry, I forgot to say it. I'll give you the proof. It's out of the question that the two witnesses saw two different moments of the same crime, as proven by... single stab wound. Yeah, right here.
Take that!
This is the victim's autopsy report. Can you imagine stabbing someone exactly in the same wound you stabbed them in the first time as a secret way? Like, I'm going to stab you twice, but I'm only going to do it through the same wound, so you're not even going to know. This is the victim's autopsy report. According to what's written here, Mr. Mason was stabbed in the abdomen only once.
Only once?
It's quite simple. The victim was stabbed precisely one time. Which means these witnesses can't possibly have seen it happen two different times. Alright, I concede defeat. Wah-hey! That one came back from the brink. Wait, that means 4 jurors are now leaning not guilty. We've done it, Mr. Naruhodo. We've won. Well, we've won the right to continue.
What are you playing at, you dandy fool?
Shut your trap, sir. No one deceives me.
But we had a consensus.
I said, shut your trap. I know a liar when I see one. And if the chap ever dares to cross the threshold of my shop, I'll take this razor-sharp blade and shave every last hair off his head. Oh God, this is poisoned, isn't it? Goodbye, everyone.
Please tell me he's a barber.
Well, in a quite remarkable turn of events, the Vince's summation examinations flipped the balance of the scales of justice, and jurors now stand at 2 for guilty and 4 for not guilty. Accordingly, there is no longer a large enough majority among the jury for me to adjudicate, and a trial must continue. I hereby ask the defense, prosecution, and witness to return to their places, and I call upon all of you to continue to pursue the truth.
Wah-hey.
So, Lord Van Zykes, continue to substantiate the case of the
We're actually going to take a break here, because I have no idea how much longer this goes before we have a break. Because this is already a long one. And, oh, this is part 2 now. Cool! We reached part 2!
Didn't give us a save.
Sounds good. We will see you guys next time for some more great Ace Attorney adventures as we continue the Old Bailey trial. We'll see you next time for that, guys. Ciao.